Hello, everyone. My name is James Suhon. I am a graduate support engineer here at E1 Solutions. And today I'm going to go through some ways where you can get full usage of all your widgets inside of Popdock and how to best utilize those and get all the full functionality within anywhere you embed your widgets. So, a quick hop over to Popdock here. So you can see we're here. We're in the OG Popdock environment right away. So now we're, as per usual, all your widgets are housed here in Developer. So you can see there's multiple different sections here in Developer that contain that for different stuff that you can do, but today we're focusing on our widgets. So the first one I'm going to focus on is a multi-list widget. It's one of our most common widget types where for any of you out there that are using BC connectors, as you know, every time you create a BC connector, a widget is automatically created alongside that connector that contains all of your lists inside of your BC connector. So we will go here. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. Here is. So this here is the multi-list widget that was created with my production connector for BC. So as you can see, if we go into lists here, it has all my groups as well as all of my BC list from my production BC connector. That is another thing as well, is every time you create a widget, it's going to pop up with the name Dynamics for Dynamics 365 Business Central as the widget name. So we always recommend coming here once you figure that out and changing it to represent what environment it's tied to which the easiest way, if you have multiple ones, you're not sure what's what, open the widget, click on list. It'll tell you what connector the widget is from and what lists are inside of it. Now, of course, you can add lists from anything to this, to where you can add your historical data, anything from GP, whatever the case may be. But it always just helps to know what the widget is tied to and what's the primary usage of that widget, especially when it comes to Business Central. So as you can see, I have all my lists here, including some SQL lists as well. But the big thing I really wanted to go over today is options. So this is where things get really good with widgets. So as you can see here, for a multi-list widget, there's quite a few options. Now these options, a lot of these pertain to basic functionality you see within a normal list inside of Popdock, if you review it here inside of the web app. So I'm going to quick duplicate this and I'll kind of go through these as we go along. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a list from my, we're going to open up the accounts list from my production connector. So as you see, once it loads up here, we'll have the accounts list for my production Business Central connector. As you can see here, we have our record count, we have our list type, refresh filter, we have all the basic functionality, columns, everything. So what options does is can give you and basically bringing these features and functionality into your widget that you have embedded. So as you can see here, for our first option is display. Show pages, show totals. So with those, it pertains here 87 accounts. If I had more, it has a paging system, as you've seen, where it's like if you have 10,000 records, it doesn't obviously show it in one giant long list. But going through this, you'll be able to access those different pages, access your record count, all that good stuff. Our next one is favorites. This one is a very popular one, as everybody likes creating favorites. They like having their own unique view that is catered to exactly what they need their data to do. So that pertains to this right here. So where we can create a favorite. So now if I were to go and open up this favorite, as we can see, I now have the options to edit, save, do whatever I need to do with these widgets, or with this favorite, I mean, my apologies. So now we have that functionality within the widget. So filtering, pretty self-explanatory. you guys want to put filters on your list when you're viewing them inside the widget, these options allow you to implement that filtering, that same filtering functionality. Show filter, filter description, record count, and search. That is also very key because obviously we want to be able to see what we're searching. So if I do 10,000, now we can see that we are searching for this. So we have that search bar available, as well as being able to add a favorite. So let's say we want account number equals 10,000. So now if we want to be able to see what that filter is, if there is a filter applied, it'll now show up on the bottom as it normally would inside the widget with this one right here, record count, and then obviously being able to filter in the search as I covered. The next one is features, which these are other common features that people use quite often inside of Popdock. So allow export, that one pertains to this right here, our export to Excel and PDF. If you want to be able to take whatever you're viewing inside the widget, export it out to an Excel report or a PDF sheet, you will need to have that checked and you will gain the ability to do so. Our next one is grouping, which if you don't know, grouping is another way we have of manipulating our data. So let's say I want to group on account type, to where if we want to be able to, typically you grab your field, drag it up here, and now it's grouped. We have our grouping here based on the account type. If you want to be able to do that inside of your widget, that's what grouping pertains to. Refresh, obviously it's our refresh function. We want to be able to refresh the data right from there without having to completely refresh the browser page or reload the list. If we want our little refresh button, it's right there. That gives us that. Change view type is not as commonly used. So change view type, basically, do you want to see it as a list, a chart, or a text file? So here's the big old ugly text file of everything that goes into this grid and this list. If we look at chart, as you can see, we have chart, cost of goods sold. Sometimes it's used, not as commonly. And then we have our list, which is the most common view that nearly everybody uses. So these are more pertain to other aspects of the list as well. Show actions. So if you were to right click, so here we have, like, if you were to have an action, so this will allow you to use your actions from inside the widget. So if you have stuff like this, like an open account page where it'll go into Business Central and open up that page, then you want to have your show actions set up, show columns. If you want to be able to add and take away columns, as you would if you want to add like account number and a couple other things, you'll need that checked off, as it'll add that functionality into your widget. Show details, if you have any details created. I don't have any on this particular list, but if you have a detail created and you want to be able to use it on the widget, you'll need that as well. And then show settings, I believe, should be right here. If you want to add some sorts, manipulate columns, throw some summaries on there, you'll need that as well. So basically with and then we have one for custom date format too. If you want to, more times than not, that's something you can set on your account locale. But sometimes people use it, sometimes they don't. But basically, if you want to put a custom date format on any date fields. But essentially, adding these in will give you the exact same functionality inside of your widget that you would have as if you were here inside of the web app. Now, it's not the same for every widget. So if I go to my single list widget, single list sample here, as you can see with this one, you have it's coming from my sandbox customers list. It's a favorite. If I go to the options here, it's a little bit different, to which most of the stuff is still there, to where we have, your export, your grouping, your refresh, view type, pretty much all the same functionality is there, and it is available as well, just not broken down in the same specific way. And then we have our custom date format, which, as again, this is just a single list, so there's just not really, as you notice, there's nothing for favorites. We do not allow the creation of favorites inside of a single list widget, because a favorite is viewed by Popdock as a list itself. It's not like you can't jump between views on a single list widget It's one view, one list, that's it, which is set here. As you can see, I would have to jump between different stuff, but we have customers favorite, different favorites, default view. So there's no favorites inside a single list, single record, anything like that. Or you can have it viewed as an HTML table, which takes out everything else, and it's just a plain table. Which if you hit select all, it'll take out everything, but it'll remove HTML table and give you that. HTML table is not something very commonly used. Typically, if you have a single list widget, you want some functionality, as that's something you're likely embedding in a fast tab or a fact box or a visual force page or wherever you want to put it. So we want that functionality to be there and available inside of our widget. As always, thank you for watching these videos. If you like them, please continue coming back and watching them. We really do enjoy making these for you. Thank you, and as always, have a nice day.